It's your boy, Slim Boy Fat 96, here with another video review / audio medium review with my boys.
Hey.
No.
What?
Okay, I'll go sit in the corner and think about what I did.
Yeah, no.
You didn't give me enough time to come up with a gamer tag. You should have warned me, Trey.
You guys are supposed to be my hype boys, and we were gonna review
I was
all
gonna
these
say
hype
I got a hype game name right here. It's your boy SJW Slayer XX Fortnite 22569 LOL Haxor Nova.
Oh man,
it's my username Gamer Genocide Elite.
No, YXXO XX Serious XOXO.
Oh lord, okay. Well, I hate all of us already right now, including Tyler. Like, he's like a tertiary hate. He did nothing.
Yeah, it's by association at this point.
Like
Tyler.
he heard that happen, and he let it happen, and I blame him for some of that.
I didn't immediately just stop recording and smash
he didn't
my
just,
computer.
Throw his mic through a window. and then burn his house down.
Again, you just let that happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, what have y'all been up to? I've been up to some things.
Yeah, it's another Love for podcast, by the way. Everybody didn't introduce that.
Yeah, it's actually that. It's actually that, and it's us again. We're all back.
We're all back again.
Have we even introduced ourselves in the last few podcasts? Because I don't think
Probably
we have.
I don't know who we are at this point.
My name is Trey Deasy. That's my God-given name. It's on my birth certificate. That's what it says. Mm-hmm. And that's
and I'm Jebediah, the Amish farmer with a heart of gold.
Yep. And we all love you for it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you making us some of that wonderful furniture?
Furniture and donuts. Now that you got me thinking about Irish donuts, the Amish donuts. Fuck it.
Irish
donuts. Either way, we like to talk about entertainment, and I was sure entertained today, boys.
Oh, were you? What was entertaining you, Dan?
So we talked a little bit about this before we started recording, and I just kind of wanted to perk everybody's ears up because Netflix is stepping up their game with getting anime licenses. I think.
Yes, they are.
The two that come to mind is later. I think it's later this month that Ava is going to start streaming,
Ava,
right?
the 21st, I believe, and I am so excited. I'm going to watch that whole show.
I was going to say, do you have it marked on the calendar?
Yes, I do. I'm going to watch that whole thing in both the movies in probably 2 days.
Is it the series or the movies?
The
both.
series.
Oh, both.
Oh, they're getting the movies too.
They're not getting the remake, the redos, but they're getting the
so they're not doing the
movies.
what is it, 1.1, 2.2, 3.33, whatever.
They won't have this. Yeah, they don't have the redos, but they do have the original 2 movies and the original anime.
Was it only 2 movies? So these are not the movies that were the redo of the whole series?
No. It's the end of Evangelion, and there was another one that I can't remember. But
I guess I don't remember those at all. Granted, I never finished Evangelion.
You would know if you'd seen it.
Yeah,
you would know.
We'll get there.
You definitely. You couldn't say you forgot it. You would know.
I mean, I've seen the end of the series. I've seen what's it called, Instrumentality or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I've seen that, and I watched up until I think Asuka really became a character, and I just hated her, and I was like, all right.
Well, you're supposed to hate her. Okay, I'm not
guess.
going to get into it.
That's fine.
If I'm going to be here the entire podcast if we have to get into the
we argue all the time.
We're going to have the AVA cast anyway once I watch it.
Once I love the AV cast, and then I can defend myself as you relentlessly tell me how much you disliked it.
I mean,
This is going to be Konosuba all over again.
I really want you to see it, and then you're going to talk to me about. I'm almost positive you're not going to enjoy it. So
you don't think I'm going to like it? Why is it? You think my brain too small? Underpants stand thinky thing?
Yeah, no, I think I think your brain are like this. And I think my brain are like dun, 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 dun.
Something like that.
I just think it's I think it's an acquired taste. Though you did like Gridman, and there's definitely, you'll know the inspirations for Gridman when you watch it. When you see it, you'll be like, oh, that's where Gridman got all this depression from.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So
speaking of depression, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, speaking of depression, the other license that I don't know how they got this, because Funimation and I don't know if they're starting to get Funimation licenses now that I'm thinking about it, because they just got Code Geass 2 is on Netflix.
They did. I'm excited, 'cause that means I could actually finish Araka 7, or however you pronounce it, because like I was almost done with the series, and then Crunchyroll lost the license for it, and I was super upset.
So it got kicked off of Verve, and then they also got March Comes In Like a Lion, which is a show I haven't watched. Apparently it's super depressing but really good.
That's what I've heard too.
Yeah, but what I did watch that I'm super excited they got the rights for was freaking A Silent Voice, the movie from last year. Which, have either of you guys seen it?
I've heard of it. I have not seen it. I don't watch a lot of anime movies, so...
Okay, I recommend it. It's a Kyoto Animation movie. Essentially,
the deaf girl, right? Or,
it's the deaf girl.
Okay, I can't remember if it was...
Yeah, no, she's deaf. It's also, I think... So, I have a couple criticisms of the movie. I can talk on a bit. It's about a year old at this point, but now that it's on Netflix, I think a lot more people should watch this movie. Because it's almost comparable to when Your Name was popular, because Your Name is fantastic.
Yes.
I watched that for the first time a couple of weeks ago. I don't think we talked about it, but fantastic movie, top to bottom. But A Silent Voice, it's got a lot of very strong themes. Just to kind of paint the picture real quick, kind of how... I don't think this is much of a spoiler. It happens in the first couple minutes of the movie. You essentially see this guy try to kill himself. He was going to jump off a bridge. But before he was doing this, he was making amends with everybody, including this deaf girl that he bullied in elementary school. And it's kind of the thing where he just meets her as like a formality just to like get closure for him. But then when he doesn't go through with killing himself, they like start meeting again. And it's him kind of overcoming himself. And basically like, it's kind of, I don't want to say teen angsty, but it kind of paints bullying and how that like... feeling of, you know, how high school for some people felt like the end of the world and depression and such. It really kind of paints those themes in a good light. Not in a good light, I'd say, but I think it does a good job of getting...
It's a good representation of it.
Yeah. And the movie goes a couple places I didn't think it was going to go. I will say, the one thing is I kept getting plot whiplash, though. I think...
Things happen too fast?
Yeah, I think because they had basically adapted the entire manga, which I think was 7 volumes, into a movie.
And that's a lot. That's a lot of content for a movie.
Yeah, I think. Let me look it up real quick. And there's a lot of points that, like plot points, that I think in the manga were much bigger, but they just kind of happen. Looks like the manga only ran for a year, actually, so it might not have been that much. Okay, yeah, it is 7 volumes though.
7 volumes of damn. That's a
but it's only like. There's only, I guess, though, like 9 to 10 chapters per volume, though.
Wow, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I didn't know if volume was a standard unit of measurement for this type of thing, but...
Like 10 is... It looks like 9 to 10 is standard, so there's standard length volumes, sounds like.
Yeah, like I said, it's a lot. That's
a very prolific artist, then. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I would recommend. I think, Trey, you would probably... The movie also, it's Kyoto Animation. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I've seen clips of it. It does look... It's very pretty.
And it's just kind of nice, too, to see how they represent this deaf girl and how they represent... The kids in it are terrible because they're children.
Right.
So I'm okay with it. Like, terrible, like, they act very well. They just are little goblins.
Because they're kids.
Yeah, they're kids. And then when they're high schoolers, it's even just like, oh man, they're high schoolers. They're kind of shitty.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of shitty high schoolers for sure.
Yeah, so I recommend the movie though. Yeah, I think especially Trey, I think you might like the manga more.
Okay. I might check
the movie, just because I know like you like manga. And I think the manga would probably give some of these moments a little more time.
Sure. I mean, how long is the movie? I could just probably...
Movie's only about 2 hours.
Yeah, I would say watch it, and if I'm interested, I'll go back and watch and read the manga.
Yeah.
Assuming I get around to it. Like I said, I'm not super into anime movies. I don't know. It might be a pacing thing. Like, generally, I find anime movies move a little too fast for me. Like, I like to linger on things more than they do. But I also haven't seen a ton of them, so like there are probably quite a few that fit that criteria that I just haven't seen.
I mean, yeah, it's like American movies. Some are fast, some are slow.
Yeah, exactly. I just I've had bad experiences with them, I guess, and so I guess that's
No, yeah, that's kind of the same. I very much, and that's what I said with this one. I got a little bit of like plot whiplash. I was like, plot point, scene, dialogue, but I think it's one of the better ones because I don't watch a ton of anime movies either. Honestly, it's been this and Your Name, and I went and saw the My Hero Academia movie, which was a dumpster. But
was it? I heard it was a dumpster because of the people in there, or was it also
a little of both?
Okay.
The movie was kind of just like every Naruto movie you've ever seen.
Sure.
When those were a thing. That's just like, oh man, that's kind of cool. We got to see characters. We do things. But then, my God, seeing anime in movies in movie theaters with anime fans is like I don't know, sandpaper belts.
Didn't the person who was with you he's not a huge anime fan?
Yeah, I took my friend Walter, who it likes some anime, but not a lot. And we're just sitting there and you could see him just getting angry. I got angry. There was like people that whole time that were like, I speak in internet memes.
I think that's mainly an issue with like movies for popular anime series. Not so much things like Your Name and Mirai and some of the other ones that are just...
I mean, it might also, too, be fans of anything are garbage. I remember going to the Harry Potter releases, the movies, when those came out, and the fans were
oh my God.
I remember, like, just beach balls. Like, I don't know if you've ever went to any of those with us, Dan, like, the openings for that Harry Potter movies.
I went to the last one.
Yeah. It's like people would throw beach balls around during the movie, and it was so annoying. It's like, I just want to see the stupid movie. God damn it.
I think I've been to one opening like night movie ever, and it is going to make you guys sad which movie that is.
Oh,
which one?
Enlighten us.
The Warcraft movie.
Ooh.
Oh no.
I've heard. I haven't seen it, but I've heard because I don't really care about Warcraft 4 that much. But I've heard bad things.
It's not great.
I heard it performed really well in China.
Oh. I'm sure it did. I mean, Transformers performs really well in China, so that's a reference point here.
But anyway, that was just my kind of thing I watched this week. I was gonna say, Tyler, you should probably watch a Silent Voice too, but I don't know what your tastes are.
No, I'd probably like it. It sounds good.
Yeah. And again, it's a movie that I know it had like super popular theatrical runs, and it's just kind of cool that Netflix is picking it up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe if they made their original series a little better.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. No, because I'll talk on it just super quick. The other thing I watched on Netflix today is the newest season of Black Mirror, which has people I like in it, like actors I like Anthony Mackie's in it, and he's boring. And then there's an episode where Miley Cyrus plays Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
Yeah. Overall, these last three were very...
Yeah, I have been incredibly disappointed with Netflix originals for the past few months. It's been I think the last Netflix original that I watched and was either BoJack or Daredevil season 3.
I'm gonna say Dragon Prince season 2, but
that's right, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that was also excellent. Nothing new though in the past while. I haven't seen any new Netflix originals that actually I liked. Everything I've liked recently has been a continuation of something I already liked, so it was like...
Yeah.
It's hard to give
and even their continuations... I feel like even their continuations, like, after they kind of, like, hit this number, I think it's, like, 3 seasons for most of them, but after that, they just kind of go... It's just straight downhill, I almost feel like, with almost all of them. BoJack being the exception.
Yeah, I was going to say, last season of BoJack was the best season, so...
Yeah, but we say that after every BoJack
season.
Tyler, you've watched BoJack, right?
No.
Oh, you should.
It's really good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite series ever made.
I've heard only good things about it. I really should watch it.
I mean, do you like depressing TV shows, I guess?
In doses.
You might not like it. It doesn't really relent much.
Yeah.
It doesn't pull any punches.
Every show I watch to be that. But it depends on how it does it.
It's funny, but it's a comedy ostensibly, but man, it is... Ooh, man.
It is a dark comedy, emphasis on the dark.
Yeah. But like I've watched The Society, Ingress, The Chambers, Sabrina, all those, and a little bit of Ultraman.
Wait, you watched The Society?
I watched a little bit of it. I watched like the first.
Okay, look, we live in a society.
I was gonna say, didn't I talk about that show on this podcast?
Did you? I don't remember you talking about that show.
I don't remember it.
The Society, or no, wait, is The Society a newer one?
Yeah.
Wait, no, I think you talked about The Society. Is it the one where the werewolves are playing beer pong? Or the witches are playing beer pong?
No, this
witches.
is different. Okay.
No, this one is
it must have like a similar name.
Like, it's sort of it's a Lord of the Flies sort of thing where like it's a bunch of like teenage kids get like stranded in their hometown with no adults, and then you kind of see how shit goes down.
Yeah.
Really,
yeah.
It has that. It's nothing really. That's why I didn't mention it, because it's like there's nothing really to write home about. It has that like that syndrome that a lot of high schoolers written by adults sort of vibe. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where it's all the tropes from when they were in high school, which doesn't translate too well. I mean, obviously, we're like a generation behind now on high school, so who the fuck knows what. Or like,
yeah,
who the fuck knows what high schoolers are like nowadays? I mean, I can just go off of what Rio does, but it's like very much like that cringy, like, oh, look at those jocks. They're all wearing their fucking jock shirts and being all jockey and hitting each other. I don't know. It was stupid. It was just like really. It's an interesting concept, just really. But that's why I didn't want to bring it up because it's like. But like the past 4 or 5 Netflix original shows I've watched have just been really, really average to bad. It's been okay to bad.
No, I get that. I almost feel the same way. I know you guys were even talking about the OA a bit. You guys kind of like, but that's a continuation.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, Tuca and Birdie I watched, and I think I talked about Tuca and Birdie. It was just like the most nothing show.
It's just like
Yeah. Ingress was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been meaning to like just look at it because the animation looked beautiful.
It was kind of cool to look at. Yeah,
it's pretty. I like all the like techno-y effects they have going on, but man, the story is just so. The characters especially are very not characters, so I just kind of moved on.
And like I said, I know there's like other shows I probably have thrown on at this point, but yeah, Netflix, come on, get your shit together.
Yeah, I feel like they've been throwing their money around too much recently, just like to anything that.
Yeah, it's just kind of the cast a wide net and you'll catch a couple things.
I don't know if it's just like they're just getting a bunch of inexperienced writers to do these things, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I know they do tend to, again, like I said, I think previously, they do tend to get newer writers and newer talent and more diverse writers and talent as well, which is.
I think that's cool that people are getting their names out there, but like I feel like they should also be like putting some tried and true people as well. Like,
also noticed, I think this was on Netflix. Let me see if I can find it really quick here. But there was a movie that I watched a little bit ago. Okay, yeah, it was Netflix. Called See You Yesterday.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, I haven't even heard of
that.
But
it was on Netflix, and basically one night I was just looking for something to watch and decided, sure, why not? And it was, I think, originally a small, like, film festival kind of film. So it was only like 15, 20 minutes originally, and then they got a chance, because of Netflix, to expand it out into a full film. And it's all like pretty much unknown actors, except for like a cameo, which was obviously because of Netflix. I know I'm blanking on the cameo. It's a guy from Back to the Future.
Christopher Lee or the kid from Back to the Future?
Lloyd, or...
It was the kid. It was an okay movie.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox. Yeah. Yep. That's it. Yeah, no, it was it was obviously a lower budget even then, even being Netflix. So I'm guessing Netflix really was just like, hey, we'll give you a little bit to like turn this into a full thing, and we'll also get Michael J. Fox in there. And they said, okay. And I think even the like director who they brought in was like, was it like Spike Lee or something like that? It was, so they brought a couple bigger names in for it. And again, it still gives the impression of being a lower budget film. It's not bad. For sure. It did not end the way I expected it to. Granted, I guess now looking at the rating of it being TVMA, maybe I should have expected it to be, but I thought it was going to be like one of these more kind of like teen kid kind of shows where like it has some serious topics in it, but it ends positively.
Okay.
And it did not. So I guess minor spoiler there, not really telling you what happens, but yeah, it doesn't end nearly as pleasantly as you thought it would. No, it does not. And also just an interesting film too, because it's almost entirely like black actors and all that stuff, and it's just not something in the US that you typically see in movies, which is really cool. Anyway, I guess that briefly took me into talking about a movie that I've watched over the past couple of weeks. But yeah, no. I mean, if you want to see something a little different, I'd recommend watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm always about getting some different stuff. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's very much a time travel show, so if time travel is one of those things that does not interest you whatsoever.
Sure, I have some beefs with time travel a lot of times.
For the most part, yeah.
It has to be like a Steins Gate or something, like really well thought out to make me enjoy it. And even then, you can still poke holes in the time travel aspect with other things that are interest me.
Yeah, I will say this one tends to basically, I mean, it's a movie, so it's shorter, but it seems to basically pick a set of rules and go with it. Yeah,
I mean that's the best you can hope for with time, because like time travel is just such a it's such a crapshoot. Like even when I like it, it's still got problems. Like just don't, as long as they have a set of rules and they stick to that set of rules and don't like do anything stupid.
Yeah,
then I'm okay with it.
Well, that was like I mean, I was going to say just quick on that, like Endgame, I think did that really well, where they just kind of point out, it's a scene where they just point out that like every other time travel movie is bullshit, and they're like, I don't know why everybody believes that.
That little Hulk scene. That was good. But even, they stuck to that rule. Even that one, they break their own rules in the very end.
That's right.
Very much, they do.
So like
with Old Man Cap.
So it's not even they're not even like perfect. It's just, it was a good movie in spite of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't like time travel much, I'll be honest. It's very tough to do in the best of circumstances, so
But anyway.
Yeah, anyway, I have a new mission, everybody.
Yeah, we heard this.
Yes, a new mission given to me by from on high. Gabe Newell sent me a letter today, and I opened it and it said, "I bet you can't play every game on Steam, pussy." And I was like, "Oh man, Gabe, why you gotta be like that?" So I have taken it upon myself to play every game on my Steam library. At least a few hours, unless the game is just absolute trash and I just can't get through those. Like, it's like almost unplayable. If it's like that, there was one game this week that I played that was, I couldn't get past 20 minutes because the game was just like unplayably bad. Like I wouldn't have gotten anything else out of it because it was just that poor. But yeah, so I've got 228 games, maybe more by the time we get down. I'm sure I'll buy other games by then, so we'll see. But hopefully I would have played those games when I get them. So there's that. But so I played 3. I've gone down 5 places in the list because a few of them were like one game didn't work and the other one I'd played a lot of already, so I didn't really feel like I needed to play much more of that. But first game, Abyss Odyssey, which, oh boy. I don't know how this game morphed onto my Steam page, because this game is a trash dumpster. This game... what really confuses me is that this game is made by Atlas, and for those who don't know, Atlas makes Persona and a bunch of other good games. I don't know where this game came from. I'm pretty sure it's a fever dream. So, it's basically, it starts off, and it's one of those games where like, you start it doesn't tell you any of the controls, you just have to like go and do it. And like, it doesn't even give you button prompts, so like, there's like, do the dash attack, or do the grab, do the pick this up. It doesn't even tell you like what buttons you're supposed to use. I'm like, what the fuck? Come on.
Obviously the grab button, you idiot.
Yeah, you just press every button on your controller and just kind of hope you find the one you're looking for, I guess. But from what I can tell, the story is like one of those like super basic. You're a figment of this sorcerer's imagination. Like he's in the very bottom of this thing they call the abyss, and he dreams up all these monsters.
Wait a second, I've seen this anime.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he dreams up all these monsters that are attacking this town, and you're like a woman who gets like dreamed up, and there's like a couple other characters I didn't lock, but like, and she's like, if I die, I'll just be respun out. And also, you can go into the abyss and stuff, and I don't feel anything. And also, I'm not wearing clothes.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, because
obviously,
She said this is Abyss Odyssey, like a platform.
I was just looking at it.
Abyss Odyssey. Yeah, it looks like a
kind of messy art style, honestly.
Yo, it looks ugly. It is really ugly. Again, I don't know how this game got on my Steam page. I don't remember buying this. I'm pretty sure it just like put itself here. I think it grew a mind of its own and was like, here, this game belongs to you now. So
Trey, sorry, I was looking at the developer because it looks like Atlas had just had a publishing the developer.
There's no way they made this. They wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, Trey, the developer gave us such hits as Rock of Ages and Rock of Ages 2, Bigger and Bolder.
But I've heard
those are good games. I've played both of those games. They're fantastic.
I thought they were just like shovelware.
I've heard good things about Rock of Ages, so that's surprising.
We'll probably get there.
I personally recommend those games. So
yeah, I've heard. I remember Total Biscuit used to talk about those a lot because he really enjoyed them. But yeah, so my major complaint, this is like, because everything else is okay. The game's butt ugly, it doesn't tell you the controls. The biggest complaint I have is that the combat system in this game is just, I don't even know who thought this was a good idea. But basically, it's like a fighting game kind of, where like when you start combat, you're kind of locked into whatever animation you start. So like, if I try to do a forward attack, I'm locked into it, jump attack, locked into it. There's like ground attack that literally does nothing as far as I can tell. Like the range on it's so small you would never use it. Like a grab, and there's a projectile. But the problem is they always throw more than one enemy at you. And if an enemy blocks you, it eats the entirety of your hit, even if it would hit another enemy. So like most of the time the enemies would just mob you, and you can't turn around mid combo. So you just get hit by like literally everything. This was clearly meant for like a one-on-one style duel type thing, and when it's like that, it's playable. Like it's not good at all. It's terrible. It's really bad. But
according to the developers, it's supposed to be a mix of Street Fighter meets Super Smash Bros.
Yeah,
neither of those. Well, one of those is good for multiple fights. The other one is not.
And it's just not good for like they'll throw like 3 to 4 enemies at a time at you, some of which throw projectiles, which the only way to deal with projectiles is to either jump over them, which the jumping is terrible, or block, which will like bounce it off in some direction. But if you block, the enemies will grab you and they'll guard break you, and then you're just like stuck getting juggled for a bit. It's just like I feel like the people who designed this game weren't talking to each other. Like they just kind of like they had like this idea for a combat system, and they just didn't. And then after they designed it, whoever was doing the enemy placement was just like, but what if we do like 8 enemies at them? What happens then?
What if it's like a bunch of them?
Yeah, but what if it was with that? It's just really bad. I feel like if I were to give it a score again, and I've only played like 30 minutes of the game because like I was getting really mad at it because it was just really unfun. It's just like it was just so aggressively unplayable. And here, I think this is the straw that broke the camel's back. I found a secret area, because like it's like a roguelike. Like every time you get on a floor, it like randomizes the difficulty and things. So I walk off to the side in this one area after the main character had died and like some soldier had taken her place. I walk into this one area and it just says very hard, and I'm like, oh shit, I only have like 15 health left. I need to go so I can find a fucking save spot, which save spots are stupid because they require a token that you have to buy. And if you don't have it, you're out of luck, too bad. They're really expensive. Yeah, so
yeah, that's insane.
I get to this new area, and it's like this like forest area, but it looks like shit. And I'm like, shit, I gotta get out of here. I try to leave, I can't. The entrance is sealed off, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll just look for a save here. And then I start walking, and then I go to the next screen, and right as I hit the next screen, I get poisoned and died. I don't need, like,
good.
The whole floor is covered in this bramble patch that just poisons you, and it just poisons you immediately. There's no dodging it unless you knew it was there, but it's randomly generated, so it probably isn't there all the time.
That does not
that's
sound
definitely
well
not
designed.
player hostile.
Yeah, so like I did that happened. I'm like, this game is bad, and I just turned it off and uninstalled it. So.
I think my favorite part of the description of this game is an action-adventure game featuring a complex fighting engine.
So a bad one.
Yeah, so
but it's complex.
It's complex. There's a lot of options. You got a lot of options when you're doing things. So
that's like what people would say about God Hand. Was like, it's a complex fighting system.
Yeah,
and it
but
is.
Like Devil May Cry is a complex fighting system. But you know what? They designed the game around that, so it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so you said you went through a few of that list, right? Overall, sounds like Abyss
Odyssey is poison bramble patch out of 10. Don't do it. It's a bunch of little kids getting murdered in an Abyss out of 10.
The child murder in Abyss was all right, though.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It's actually really good. Yeah, but what else was on the list?
All right, Alan Wake.
Give us some more A's. Oh, good.
Yeah, Alan Wake. Popular. That's a popular one.
Yeah.
That's a game I've always been actually interested in.
It's a decent game. Yeah.
That is a solid game. I have some complaints. It's aged pretty well too. It had a very advanced lighting engine for the time.
Yeah.
Because I mean, light is literally your weapon in that game. So like, if it's made sense. But like, the textures are good too.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of things, if I remember, from when that game was still being developed, that they were trying to do with that game. Which was very ahead of its time. Like, I think they were even trying to do, like, destructible environments and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can tell. No, like, they definitely did, because there's a part in the beginning where, like, you're doing in this dream sequence, and, like, this thing is, like, trying to break into your house, and there's some dynamic physics happening in there, and I'm like, man, that's really cool, considering when the game came out.
Yeah, no, it was ahead of its time.
Very ahead of its time in some ways. There are, if you look at the faces of the characters, you can tell that the budget they kind of did the best they could with those.
Kind of didn't. Yeah, they just kind of
like the faces of the characters are very much like they have like that Max Payne look, that kind of thing, where like they have this photorealistic texture on these really not made for it models.
I'm trying to remember, was that game like kind of divided into episodes?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that was
because I think I remember like music sections, like real music, like licensed music in between sections. Like I think I remember.
It's set up like a TV show. It's set up like an HBO show sort of, where like you have like these hour-long segments between episodes. And the whole premise is like you're a writer you're basically Stephen King. You're Stephen King. You can't write anymore. Like you've had this big writer's block, so you go off on vacation with your wife, and the creatures you write about start coming to life. In this like sleepy mountain town, and it's more complicated than that. And like I've played the game a while ago. I never beat it, but I played it a while ago, and so I already kind of knew what to expect when I came back to it.
Yeah.
But like, there's some lovable characters. I think my least favorite thing, honestly, is sort of the monster design in this. Is just people, but they're shadowy. Like, considering it's a horror writer, you kind of expect it to be like, a lot more horror, I guess.
Yeah. I think there's also like shadowy vehicles and stuff like that, but it is like, basically just
there's other things too. Like I remember getting chased down by like a vehicle in one section that's like all covered in like I think it's like a steamroller or something.
Yeah.
Later, but like it's mundane things that just like are shadowy, and that's supposed to, and you can't hurt them as long as they have the shadow. You have to have a flashlight and hit them with the light until their cloak comes off, and then you shoot them with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's cool. I like it kind of takes away from the suspense because you're just fighting like some dudes who like are vaping way too much. So like, it's just really like
sick vape, bruh.
Yeah, sick vape niche. And then so like it makes you like, oh, it's Why am I threatened? What I do think is cool, and I've forgotten about this, is that there are tapes you can find in the world that are literally like, it's like the people who made it made their own versions of Twilight Zone episodes. Like, they're live action. Huh. They're like live action Twilight Zone episodes. They're not actually Twilight Zone, like they're original. But the fact that they went back and they like made these, like, it shows that they had a lot of fun making them. You can tell the level design is really interesting and the characters are really interesting, even if I think they get a little too, like, they have like a little too much of the Marvel quippiness syndrome where like this is obviously a horror situation but they're cracking jokes for no reason.
Yeah, like
they should be terrified, but your buddy who lives in the town, he is just non-stop cracking jokes. Like, he seems like he's having a great time, even though, like, literal monsters that you can't hurt are jumping out of places.
Yeah. Well, to comic relief.
Yeah, but I think it's a classic. I honestly, it holds up really well, considering, like, a lot of games from that same era don't. Like, you can tell they put a lot of time and effort into it.
Oh, no, yeah. I was just going to say, have you ever played the DLC? Because I have not. Or the expansion?
I have not. I never play, like, I think it's American Nightmare or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never played that. I actually don't have that in this version either, I don't think. So
okay.
I probably won't play that. I don't know if I'll go back to it, just because I played a fair amount of it before, and I kind of want to keep going on the list. But it was cool to get like a refresher on that game, because like that is an overlooked game. I think people should go if it's ever on sale and on Steam or somewhere or on PS4 or something. I pick it up. It's a fun game.
It is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, especially if you like sort of schlocky horror, I think you also really have to get a kick out of it, because it's very self-referential. The main character is like, I am definitely not Stephen King, man. They even start with a quote by Stephen King in the beginning, and then like you get to the character and it's like, my name's Alan Wake. I'm definitely not Stephen King. Don't sue me, Stephen King. Not Stephen King.
Yeah.
So,
hi, my name is legally distinct from Stephen King.
Yeah. All right. So the last games, I tried installing Alice Madness Returns, but for whatever reason I couldn't figure it wouldn't work, and I didn't want to put the effort into make it work. I've heard it's a fun platformer, but
so 0 out of 10.
If edgy, a garbage game. The next game was American Truck Simulator, which I'd played a lot of already. It's a truck game. You do trucks.
Wait, yeah, hang on, back that up. You've played when you say a lot of American Truck Simulator?
Yeah. Let's see. I've played 117 minutes. So not
117.
What?
Oh, okay. I thought you said 117 hours.
Yeah, no.
I thought you said 117 hours.
No,
okay.
I've played a few hours of it. I shouldn't say a bunch. I played more Euro Truck Simulator. I think I've put like 30 or some hours in that one. But I like games where like there's some games you play just like turn your brain off, and this one's like you deliver packages. This is the game.
Yeah.
Throw on a movie while you go deliver packages. I did the same thing with Elite Dangerous, where I just became a space trucker.
Yeah.
Just deliver packages. It's like they have this really cool bounty hunting system in that game, or like you could join the army or whatever. But you know what? I'm gonna be a space trucker. I'm a space trucker.
Come on and join our conflict. Yeah, no, Euro Truck Simulator, not Euro, American Truck Simulator, still trucking American.
Yeah, it's if you enjoy being a truck driver, if you ever have a dream of just like delivering packages, that's a game that'll do it for you. It's really awkward to play with a keyboard and mouse, so I recommend using a controller.
I will say on the Steam page of American Truck Simulator, I like how one of the screenshots shows a car blatantly disregarding like traffic laws. It is in the middle of an intersection where the other direction has a yellow light.
so accurate is what you're
accurate,
saying.
yeah.
So Valhalla awaits. It's a good day to die.
It's like I'm driving around where I'm actually living right now.
Yeah, so it's photorealistic. There's actually I read a study not too long ago that was talking about how Michigan, apparently according to statistics, have the best drivers in the nation.
I can believe it because, man, the drivers have been terrible everywhere else I've been.
Yeah, well, I was because Grand Theft Auto 5. They actually, there was a little snippet I remember reading in like some developer commentary. They made the drivers more aggressive and less like conscientious in that game than were originally intended on purpose. Like they were like, so like if you like honk at a driver too much, he will literally just start hitting things sometimes, or like if you stand in front of him too long, he'll just drive around, like he'll just drive through you. And they were like, yeah, well, we just they were originally followed most traffic laws, but because drivers in LA are so bad, or in San Andreas are so bad, like this, like in California are just so bad, we decided to make them worse on purpose. Like.
Oh, goodness. The only way they could make that worse is by having all the, like, motorcycles that just, like, ride the line between the lanes and all that stuff.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, moving on. Last game, this one I'm going to make quick, too, because I beat this game already once, but Amnesia Machine for Pigs, the sequel to Amnesia The Dark Descent. But it's actually, it's a sequel in the sense that it has the name, but it's actually made by a different studio. That game is interesting. It's made by the people who made Dear Esther, if you've ever heard of that game.
Yeah.
That's like the quintessential walking simulator. It actually got pretty famous for it because a lot of people either loved it or panned it horribly. I was sort of in the middle. I played through Dear Esther, and there were some cool bits, but it's definitely a walking simulator, so if you don't like those. This one is sort of that as well, but it's a horror game. I guess the thing is, after I've played some of the other games that have just done what this game did better, it feels like like if you're Layers of Fear.
I've heard the title.
Kinda.
Yeah, Layers of Fear is just better. This like you're a guy who's done some really horrible things, but he can't remember them, so he's exploring this mansion that he owns ? And, like, some weirdo shit happens to him, and, like, there's, like, the subtext with an industrial revolution, like, and, like, it's just, like, it's one of those things where, like, the mansion layout makes no sense, and, like, there's a bunch of weirdo jump scares that just kind of happen, and they put the darkness way too low. Like, way lower than you think. Like, you'll be in a room with, like, 4 lights, and you can barely see anything, and I'm like, I am currently in a room with 1 light, and I think it's too bright currently, so that's not right at all.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Amnesia really just kind of took off, because it was, like, I'd almost say the start of the age of, like, the Scream React YouTuber thing, and
like,
kind of led into...
That was, like, when the PewDiePies and the Markipliers, like, really took off. Like, that was, like, their in... So like
it was like that, and then like Five Nights at Freddy's like a week after.
Yeah,
like
and like I like the fact because like there was another game that the Amnesia people made called Soma. That was the game. Okay, which is actually fantastic. Like they have some very talented writers at Frictional. And
even then. I was going to say, I wasn't like trying to knock Amnesia with that comment at all. I think it was very much like a perfect storm of like a pretty good game combined, or like a pretty good game for the time, especially.
Yeah, it was
like
a pretty solid game. It was decently scary at the time. It does not hold up. So like if you play it now, you would be hard pressed to be scared by it now. But it had interesting concepts. And I do like how instead of making another Amnesia game, they like gave the rights to somebody. They're like, oh, somebody else can make this. What we're gonna make is like some deep dive into the human condition. Like Soma is such a fucking trip. Like if you like, I recommend at least watching a playthrough of that game because man, that game will keep you up. Not because it's scary, or it is scary in the sense that like it's existentially scary. Like. Mm-hmm. Like it's like there's a lot that they do a lot of deep dives because like it's sort of like that like robot a lot of like artificial intelligence like what makes a human being stuff, but they do it really well, like really well. Like the writing in that game is spot on, which is too bad because it's like wrapped around this like mediocre horror game. Like the actual game part of that game is pretty boring, but like the concepts that they bring up and like the like really intense things they talk about. I think there's a YouTuber called Joseph Anderson who does a really interesting dive into that game. And it's just it's a really really good narrative, which is why I would recommend people don't play it but watch it because there's some really cool things in that game. but like it's a good story, not a good game. It's like one of those it's one of those numbers. But but back to Amnesia Machine for Pigs, it's really, really forgettable nowadays. There's other games that have done what it did better, essentially.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's like you were almost saying, it's still good if you kind of look at it as a time capsule almost.
I don't think it was very good when it came out either. I'll be honest. Like I remember playing through it. And I thought the idea, like the whole Industrial Revolution, the Industrial Revolution horror aspect is kind of interesting to think about. Like, it's just like, it's sort of like a Big Brother horror sort of flick. And then until you get into it, it just becomes like a main character did bad thing, and now he's paying for it. He's basically in hell right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it's one of those stories.
Yeah, that's a little ham-fisted.
Yeah, and ham-fisted.
Key.
I learned that from you.
Oh wait, pigs! I got it. I didn't even mean to do that. That was completely on accident.
But yeah, that's my segment. Tune in next week when I get to play such gems as a shitty visual novel and Ark Survival Evolved.
Oh no! Wait, what's the shitty visual novel?
Analog a Hate Story. It's actually not bad. It's like I played it. One of the endings before.
Oh, okay.
It's called Analog a Hate Story. It's actually kind of interesting. I'll probably replay the whole thing because it's pretty short.
I was going to say, speaking of visual novels, hey, Tyler.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy Trey Nekopara before he gets to the ends?
Oh, God, stop. No. Go, God. Oh, jeez.
I don't even know what I would get you for the G's, Trey.
Oh, no.
So, I've actually been playing... Well, I've played a few games recently. But I'll briefly talk about one of them and save the one I've been playing most recently for a later podcast, whatever we want to call it.
Thing.
Yeah.
Experience,
an auditory experience. Anyway,
I like
that. We are now a sophisticated podcast.
Sophisticated. I'm super sophisticated. My phone didn't go off earlier this podcast.
I have pulled out my gin and tonic now and am using my pipe. And
throw on some classy jazz music.
Yeah, some classy jazz music. I've got the fireplace behind me, sitting in my large leather chair. I have a wonderful robe on. Anyway, playing a game called Graveyard Keeper.
Oh, I've heard of that game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Stardew Valley, right?
Yeah, no, I mean that's the easiest connection to make is Stardew Valley. And all in all, it's not a bad game. It has a few bad elements to it that I think really detract from what is otherwise, and I mean, a decent. It's not Stardew Valley. It's like if you're looking for Stardew Valley, it has similar elements, but it is not that. Not quite as good in some ways.
It's pretty. I've seen videos of it.
Yeah.
The pixel art's very well done.
It is. Although they have definitely a lot of ones that they made just a couple animations. And the main character, you can change out the armor and stuff you're wearing, but it doesn't change the look at all of the character. So just a few little things like that, which that doesn't bug me a ton. I get it. It's a smaller indie project.
You gotta cut corners somewhere, else you're gonna be making this game forever.
Yeah. And it has some neat things. I like some of the little conversations, and it has some fun, clever humor. It's very like kind of poking fun at religion and capitalism and history and just a bunch of little things. Like you're basically turning witch burnings into like an event by selling like burgers and beer and stuff at the events, and you are putting on you're a priest at a church and you're basically doing sermons just to get money. And it's not really even disguised that that's what you're doing it for. I actually really like the sermon part of it, although I wish I could skip it now that I've seen it 100 times. That's one of my complaints of the game, because it's just pretty great where he's like, our church is great, and then everybody in the audience is just like, okay and nice. And then like you finish, and if it was a good sermon, everybody's just like, what a great sermon, and they walk out and they all give you money. So I mean, I do enjoy some of the little things. It's a little gruesome because I mean, you are a graveyard keeper. You have
you're a graveyard keeper.
You have an autopsy room. You're doing some pretty unethical things in the game, like getting meat off of dead bodies and selling it. And sometimes getting other parts from dead bodies and using it for various things. Like you can take the skin and turn it into basically leather and do like book pages and stuff like that from skin that you get off bodies. Most of these you can actually, I think pretty much every resource you can get from another mean. So you don't have to, but it would take forever if you don't. Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things that I feel like on their like Steam page, they were like, make moral like ambiguous decisions and stuff like that, or unethical decisions.
I don't think those are morally ambiguous.
No, you're right. That is completely 100% unethical.
Make unethical decisions.
But it's also
purpose.
pretty clear that you're like not in a world that is real, like. So it's interesting, and you like show up and like everybody's talking to you and you like mention a thing and they're like, oh, you're the gravekeeper, like good to meet you, like glad you're here, and they don't question anything. And yeah, it's I don't know, like I said, it's an interesting game. My two biggest gripes, probably one of the reasons I won't beat the game, is that shops have these tiers to them which are supposed to over time like build up to new shop tiers, and also as you like trade with the shopkeeper, it opens up new tiers. The issue is like progression relies on those tiers, and I don't want to sit around and just buy and sell. Like I did it once with one of the merchants where I just took like, okay, like here's like 20 like grains of wheat. Let's just trade this back and forth over and over and over again until you finally are a higher tier, and I'm losing a little bit of money each time.
That sounds sounds unexciting.
I just got sick of that. Like other parts of the game I enjoy. I like having the zombie workforce. That's kind of fun. Although the other big complaint I have is that the zombies, particularly the ones that transport resources, tend to get confused. And they basically are like, hey, you've got a lot of this resource, so I'm going to try to transport that. And so they get stuck trying to transport a resource that you already have full at your main camp.
So then they put it down.
Yeah, so then they won't grab a different resource to bring. They'll just keep trying to transport the resource, and then they can't. And you can only have one zombie going back and forth between each of the two like resource gathering points. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Overall, like there's just a few little things that I think would make it a pretty fun game. And it has a very dark sense of humor. That's kind of fun. A little bit that it's just like, hey, look, a little too forced. Like, hey, aren't we being clever? Aren't we? Oh, look at us. We're like little rascals making these comments and stuff like that. And it's like,
a little too tongue in cheek. A little
too tongue in cheek sometimes, but sometimes it just strikes that balance perfectly. So it's hit or miss on some of the like comedic aspects of it. And I feel like really the game should rely more on that than it does, I don't know, some of the other, like the more Stardew Valley kind of stuff. And it's interesting because the game does appear to have an end goal. Although I, of course, have not reached it, so, and probably never will. But
that's fair.
But that is interesting that it actually has progression points for you to follow. So
I'll probably pass on it.
No, yeah, it's completely fine to pass on it. It's if you really want something to scratch the Stardew Valley itch, it might be okay for a bit, but you might find yourself getting annoyed at some of those mechanics, like the shops, and certain shops only being available on certain days of the week and being necessary to progress the story. Little things like that are pretty annoying in the game, honestly. But overall, it's a really solid attempt at the genre, and I hope they give it another one. I think...
Yeah, it sounds like there's some talented people who made it. Made some mistakes.
Yeah, I think they can kind of grow from it and make a better game in the future. And
they should make it more morally ambiguous. The guy,
I'd like that.
Make the guy a necrophiliac as well.
Yeah, just like an edgy Stardew Valley.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Your guy is not at all like interested in anybody in this world. And that is clear from the start. Your entire goal from the game, because the game actually, it felt very anime. It felt very like almost isekai to me starting out. Because it's just that standard isekai start of, hey, I'm like a white collar worker and I'm going back home to my wife, and oops, I got hit by a car and now I woke up in some weird fantasy world.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, no, that's it. You had Truck Coon show up.
Yep.
Truck Coon. Not again.
Came and
he took another one.
Somebody stop him before he comes for us.
I don't want to go to another world. No.
Keep me out of isekai hell.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, one of these days I'll have to talk about I'm a spider, so what, and my huge problem I have with isekai. Not this show, but I'll bring it up because I have words.
Is that the one where like the character gets reincarnated as a spider?
Yes, yeah. It's
okay,
a teenage,
because
I think it's just what it says on the tin.
I guess
so. It's a high school girl who gets transported to a fantasy land, but she's a spider.
Okay, because I did not hear the high school girl part or anything else, but I had a coworker who just kept talking about this show where a person gets like reincarnated as a spider, or not show, or manga.
I don't know if it has an anime.
I don't think it has an anime, but
no, it doesn't look like it does.
But they just kept talking about this.
An anime television series has been announced
over and over
I'm
again.
Sure, I think it'll be really boring as an anime, as a television series. But again, I'm not going to bring it up. We've been talking. I've been talking for too long already. But man, I have words. I have some serious words about isekai, and I need to get them out on this medium that I've chosen. So next week I'm gonna fucking let loose. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry in advance.
As if we're talking about isekai next week, as homework, do we need to watch like an episode of Isekai Quartet?
Actually, I did watch that series. I'm caught up on that series. I'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Graveyard Keeper, Tyler, do you give it the solid? Probably play it.
I give it a solid. I give it my lukewarm.
Valley.
It's okay if you like Stardew Valley type games and you've completely finished that and you want another one to just kind of scratch that itch a little bit, and you don't mind a little bit of that grindiness for the shop. I that's a lot of qualifiers. I know. I'm sorry.
You give it.
I was gonna say, Tyler, you don't finish Stardew Valley.
I know. Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Finish this.
Yeah. I actually want to go back to Stardew Valley because they've added so much content since the last time I played.
Oh, do we want to mess around on the multiplayer? I'm about that.
I'm about that. There's apparently a new patch in the works, so I might wait until that happens.
I know. I might too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. No, it's. Like I said, it's an okay game. If the grotesque humor doesn't bug you,
it's the Tyler review. It's all right.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's good. Yeah, but yeah. On that note, I think we're about to get to wrap up here. We got some things. We told people not to watch a lot, so
there's a lot of things to not watch and not play.
So don't do anything this week. Just sit at home.
Yeah, sit in your desk. You just stare at a wall and just kind of imagine what good TV looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stare at your blank TV screen and be like, man, good shows sure do exist, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, so let's go on and sign off here. This is Dan Earl signing out.
See you, dumpster goblins.
It's your boy, Slim Boy Fat. Out.